Hey friends, it's Len down at 1A Auto. Today I'm going to be doing a fairly simple job. We're going to be replacing a window regulator on a 2010 Nissan Altima. It's going to be fairly simple. I want to be the guy that shows you how to do it. So if you need this or any other part, you can always come down to 1A Auto and check us out. Thanks. So here we go. We're going to get inside this door panel so we can see what's going on in there. First thing I like to do is I like to get behind here. This is where the handle is. This is a little cover right here. It should just pop right up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small small screwdriver. I'm going to see if I can pry it up, pop it out. Okay. Behind here, you'll notice there's a Phillips head screw. So I'm going to turn that to the left, remove that. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to try to remove this little cover, or armrest, I should say. I'm going to use something plastic, try to pry. I'm not trying to use something metal because I don't want to chisel up the rest of our door. So here we go. Phillips head right here. Here we are. That's what it looks like. We can set that aside so we won't lose it. Take a look. There's nothing else back there that could hold this door panel on. So we'll move along. We're going to take this off now. I'm going to use something like this. Okay. I'm going to come right here. See if I can pry it up. Okay. It's pretty tight. I'm going nice and slow because there are clips under here that I don't want to break. If something breaks, well, you break it, you bought it, right? So I'm just going to go along. Once I get all this up, I'll show you where all the clips are so you can see why I'm trying to take it slow. Let's see if I can grab it. There we are. Feels like maybe one more. There we are. Okay. So you can see we have all these slots right here. We've got all these clips. These clips are what was holding it in. This one was the main one. And that one goes in here. That's why I was trying to start there first, get this undone. That way there I can lift up, go along the line, and unclip all these. All right, we'll set this aside. Now we're gonna take a look. We wanna see what could be holding this plastic door panel onto the inner part of the door. It looks like we might have a screw here, screw there. Looks like a Phillips head or a 10mm, depending on what you have access to. Since we already used a Phillips head, we're going to go with the assumption you have access to a Phillips head. I'm going to turn that to the left. This is a ratcheting screwdriver. It's wonderful. Electric screwdriver would be even nicer. Just going to pull this out. There we are. Grab that second one. There we are. Same size as the other one. We don't have to worry about mixing those up, but they are quite a bit longer than this one. Now what I like to try to do, I'm gonna see if I can pull up on this. If it doesn't feel like it wants to come up, we could even just try to take the door panel off first and try to take a peek behind there. There is gonna be wiring, obviously. These are switches, so they must have electrical current going to them or from them. Okay? Something to pay attention to as well is there is a light down here, which also means that it has electrical current getting to it. So there's gonna be wiring here, there's gonna be wiring here. So when we pull off this door panel, it's gonna come off on the bottom this way, and then up along the top, there's a little ridge that it sits down onto. So when you get to the top, we're gonna come popping, pulling out, and then it's gonna come out and up this way to come off, all right? So I'm gonna grab my little tool again. Use one that's a little thicker, one that's a little thinner, whatever you wanna use, but I prefer to use plastic on this rather than metal, just so I don't mess up my door panel too much. This one might not be in the best condition, but we'll just try to do it right. I'm gonna try to come in. I'm gonna try to pry away. Okay. See if I can find approximately. All I'm trying to do is get in between the door and the panel, okay? I'm gonna turn my hat around just so I can get my head down in here a little bit better. Okay. So I can look down through here. I can see there's a clip. There we are. There's one removed. I'm going to bring it down along here. There we are. Another one. Another one's right here. There we are. I'm just pretty much following the door panel around the door. This kind of tells me where all the little clips are. Okay. I'm going to come up this side. Feels like there should be one right about here somewhere. There we are. Bringing it up. Okay. There we go. pull this away. Now we can see our wiring and our cables. So we want to make sure we disconnect all this stuff. We want to try to avoid any tugs on wiring. If you pull out any wires from any switches or harnesses, well, we're going to have bigger issues. And I can show you how to fix it all, but let's not do that today. Let's just get the part done that we're trying to do. I'm going to try to take a look under here, see if I can take this off real quick. Just using my small screwdriver. Okay, we got a little electrical connector here. See about pushing that in, lifting it up and out. We're going to come in from behind here, try to take a look at what we're dealing with. All right, we've got 2 cables. If you wanted to, you could mark them to try to remember which one's which, or you can just remember the top that comes out the top right here comes to the top up here. Okay, that's pretty easy to remember, so we'll just go with that. You could use something like a crayon that just pops right out of there. There's a little lip right here, or a little, well, you can call it what you want. Think of what you want to call it that. That slides into this hole right here, okay? So if we were installing it, we would slide the little tip into that. Hopefully. It's lubricated, so it's hard to hold on to. Basically, it slides right in there, and then slides like that, and it locks it in. And then if you want to lock it back in, okay? But we're going to be installing it again later anyway. So here we go. I'm going to pull this one out as well. Trying to be careful not to break the latch. There we are. This one's a little bigger. No real nub, just a big old circle. Okay. Now we've got the door panel. We're going to try to keep pulling it away, but not putting too much tug pressure on this. If you need more slack, you can go ahead and pull these little pins out of the door and try to give yourself more slack. I'm just going to try to do it the way that it is. This one right here is a little push pin. I'm going to try to push that in, pull this out. Always check your electrical connectors. I'm going to skip saying it on every one, but I'm going to say it for this one. Check all your electrical connectors as you pull them off. Make sure there's no funny colors, green, blue, red, rust, anything like that. If there is, you're going to need to do something about it, okay? Let's see. I'm going to try to find the prong on this one. Feels like it's probably on the back side. Here it is, right there. All I did was come around from the back side with my finger, squeeze on it, pull down, okay? Can't really see that because it's in here, but it's very simple. You just grab it with your index, pop it out, okay? This one, you take a look at it. How does it go in? Don't mind me hitting my head. I'm gonna try to push. See if I can see it. There we go. Can you see it better now? I can see it better now. Here's our little push. We're gonna try to push that in, pull out our electrical connector. So, we can use our small screwdriver if we want. Pull that out, take a peek. Looks good. So now we're inside. We've got a clear view of everything that's going on in here. We've got our little cables. These can move out of the way. This panel right here is gonna have to come off so we can get behind there. So, before we go ahead and take this panel off and unscrew all 14 of these bolts, we're gonna make sure we get the electrical connector out of the way. We don't wanna put any tugs on this, right? So first I'm gonna start at the window motor. This right here is the motor. There's a little electrical connector with a little push button in the middle. I'm gonna see if I can push in on it and pull down. Take a peek. Yep, looks good. And take our little hooky-doo. See if I can pop this out. There we are. So come around, I'm gonna do the same thing to all these. Or at least my plan is to. I'm gonna try another one. Something a little stronger. There we are. Anytime you're doing stuff like this with these little push pin connectors, you're always taking a risk of them breaking. And if they break, you can go ahead and try to replace them if you want. There we are. This one. Looks like we've got one more over here. Just get this off. Just like that. Perfect. Move that right out of the way. Now with this hanging down, we want to be careful if we end up shutting the door for any reason. You don't want to crush these. Okay? These are just plastic. These are just wires. You don't want any crimps or bends or cuts. So if you wanted to, you can just put it up and out of the way. I'm not going to be shutting the door, so I'll just leave it. Next, I'm going to take my 10mm right here, little 10mm socket, and I'm going to start removing all these bolts that hold the plate on. I believe there's 14 of them. So I'm going to turn them to the left, pull it out, and I'll show you what it looks like. There we are. So now I'm going to keep on doing all the rest of these, and then we'll get this plate out of the way. All right, so I got the majority of them out. I left one, a few screws in, or a few threads in. This right here is sealed in. It's got some kind of RTV-like goo. Basically just kind of holds it on. So you're going to go back to using this again. We're just going to see if we can pry in between. Pick any spot you want. Basically, I'm going to try to pull the plate away from the door panel without bending the plate too much. There we are. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and remove this last screw. I'm holding up the plate with my hand, so hopefully it won't fall down and hurt my foot. Okay, now we can see inside there. So now we've got it all apart. We've got all of our bolts out. I just wanted to make a quick note, let you know that there's 10 of these bolts, all right? These hold the plate to the door panel. There's 4 of these that have a larger washer on them, and one of those 4 have an even larger washer, okay? What these do is these hold the window regulator plates to the large plate, okay? They come through this side and they screw into here, right? There's 4 holes and there's 4 of these. This one goes in this bottom corner, but I'll show you where it goes when I'm installing, okay? I just wanted to show you that real quick. So now we got the panel hanging down nice and low. It's just kind of hanging out here. We want to analyze our situation. We're going to be replacing the window regulator, which is these beams right here. There's a cable there. There's a cable that comes down to the bottom. Those are all going to be replaced. But what we need to do is we need to get the window dismounted from the regulator. Okay? So we've got a 10mm here and a 10mm there. If you had the window all the way up, this bolt right here would be behind here. If you had the window all the way down, it would be someplace down there, I don't know, right about here probably. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get it up to about this point. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take these bolts. I'm going to try to just loosen them up first and see if that gives us enough room to be able to pull this window up. Once we get it up, we're going to hold it up and we're going to use something like this. This is just masking tape, painter's tape, call it what you want. You can use duct tape if you want, but that sticks a little bit too good and you're going to make a sticky mess. So just go with something like this, masking tape. We're going to assume that we have the window all the way up. Okay, we've already taken these bolts, we loosened them up or taken them out, whatever we had to do at that point. The window's up, we're going to hold it. We're going to take some tape, we're going to go up the window, up and over across, and then down the window. We're going to do that 2 to 3 times going down, and that should hold the window in the upward position so we can get to work down here. I'm going to go ahead and take out these 2 10mm. First, I'm going to loosen them like I said, because I want to see if they need to be taken all the way out or just loose. There we are. Come over to the second one. Let's see what happens. Still feels like it's attached pretty well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take out those 2 bolts completely. There's one. I'm going to go with the assumption these bolts should be the same. Okay, so something that I'm noticing is that this is pulling away from the window. We do not want this window to drop down. This is glass, right? So we're going to have to be careful. So I'm going to have my tape ready. I can grab it nice and easy. I'll put it someplace where I can reach it. I'm going to go ahead and hold the window. I'll even come under here. This will be easier for me because I can just hold everything. Oh, hold on. My tape rolled away. There we are. I guess I'm just going to be a fool and try again. Maybe I'll put it here. How's that? There we go. All right. Anyway, back to where we are. I'm holding up the window with one hand in case these come free. because basically all that's holding them up are these two bolts and that little prong and this little prong inside the hooks. So with these being able to move around, we don't want that glass to be able to fall down, right? Wear your safety glasses just in case. If the glass does happen to fall and shatter, well, we want to make sure that we're as safe as possible. We can replace the glass, but I don't know about replacing our eyeballs. Just try to wiggle it around. See if I can't get this bolt out of here. The reason why this is pulling away is because I have the weight of this plate on here. Just so you know, you can hold it up if it makes it easier for you. There's our second bolt. Move that out of the way. There we go, plate's down. Okay, I'm gonna take our glass. I'm gonna try to bring it up. Here we are. Doesn't necessarily need to be all the way up, it just needs to be up. We're gonna take our tape and come halfway down the window. I'm just gonna try to get it to stick on there. This tape isn't super expensive. It's a lot cheaper than a window. So the more the merrier, we'll say, right? But you do need to make sure that it's sticking on there. Bring it down as far as you want to bring it. There, that. Some people will say 2's enough. Some people will say 3's enough. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's your window, your prerogative. You do you, boo-boo. To me, 3's enough. We can give it a little tug. That feels pretty good. It's not gonna fall down. If this did fall down, slam into there, it's glass. We're gonna have an issue. Let's try to avoid issues. So, here we are. Now we've got this right here. Okay. Here's our window regulator. There's the 3 mounting screws. This holds our regulator to the motor in the back. So let's bring this over to our working table and we'll go ahead and remove those. Okay, so here we go. We've got our panel out. We've got our window regulator. These are the little 3 mounting screws. We'll go ahead and remove those with our 8mm in 1 second. But while we're at this point, I'd like to grab our quality 1A auto part. I like to bring it over, just try to match it up. Everything should match up pretty well. Just make sure that the hooks are all there. That looks good. This looks good. Perfect, so we know we got the right thing. When you get this in the bag, it might come like this, I don't know. Just kind of figure it out, all right? Just twist it, do what you need to do. Make sure that it matches up, and it does. So we know we have the right part. That's always a wonderful thing. We'll set that aside. We'll try to keep it the way that we just figured out the way it goes, because once we take this out, we don't want to be trying to figure it out at that point, right? So I'm going to take my 8mm. I'm going to turn all 3 of these screws to the left. So, get our last bolt out here. Set all those aside. As you can tell, they're the same. We don't have to worry about mixing them up. We're just going to grab this. That's our motor underneath there. That's the shaft. If I was to turn this over, well, the motor would probably fall out, first of all, because those screws also hold in the motor. So we're just going to leave that. But if you could imagine, that is where the motor is. So here's our old unit. We're going to go ahead and replace this now. So we have a little product comparison here. We have our old window regulator unit from our 2010 Nissan Altima. You can tell it has the window tracks right here. It's got cables. This is where your motor goes into. When your motor turns, it turns this little doodad inside there, which makes this cable push, or pull I should say, in this direction, or this cable pull in that direction. Makes your window go up and down inside these tracks right here. Okay? So here we have our quality 1A auto part. As you can tell, everything looks the exact same as the other one. Comes with this, so you can put your motor shaft inside there. It's got brand new cables, obviously. These will flow nice and easily inside these tracks. These right here, as your motor turns, it pulls these cables either one direction or the other, which makes these go up and down. That brings your window up and down. So, looking at these, We got our pulleys here, pulley, pulley, pulley. These all look great. All right, everything looks like it matches up perfectly. So if you need this or any other quality part, you can always come down to 1A Auto and check us out. All right, so here we go. We're gonna get ready to start installing the window regulator unit into our backing plate, or the plate that goes inside the door panel. We'll notice there's a little wire tie here. This is basically just to hold this. Turn it over so you can see. Hold this so it can't just spin around and these cables can't go pulling out and making a huge disjumble out of everything. Just keeps everything nice and firmly together for during shipping purposes, okay? So we're gonna use a little bit of wire cutters here. You can use what you got. If you've got a knife or a pocket blade of any sort, you could use that. I'm gonna remove this, okay? We still have this set up, so when we go from here, we're just gonna go right over to here. There is something that I like to make a note of. Inside here, these are the screw holes where these all go into. The motor's back there. I don't know if you can see those holes, but that motor can move around now. So maybe we go like this, right? I don't know, you move the plate around. Now it's moved. You're gonna wanna reline up those holes as close as you can. And then we're gonna take our window regulator and we're gonna line up this part right here with this part right here, okay? You'll notice that this is a square. Inside the new regulator, we also have a square, okay? So I'm just gonna bring the unit over. I'm gonna get it approximately where it's gonna go. Now we're gonna try to get this square lined up with that, okay? You can turn it, you can do what you need to do. Nothing's mounted yet. So I'll just see if I can get it like that. Feels like it's going in. If you wanted to, you can get your hand underneath there and try to push the motor up in and then start it. All right, so we've got our 3 mounting holes on all these. We're gonna try to line them all up. There's a little bit of a lip on this motor. That lip goes up through this hole, and we're gonna leave all the bolts out so we can turn this. We're gonna watch this square. We're gonna try to line it up with the square in here. All right? The reason why I wanna leave all the bolts out is so if we have to pivot anything, we can pivot it, and we don't have to worry about it being stuck in there. So I'm gonna go ahead under. I'm gonna get my motor lined up. Okay. Try to line up those holes if I want. It's gonna move around again, so we're gonna have to deal with that. That's okay. This is gonna be a little bit of a snug fit, but we've got our square here, our square there. I'm gonna try to line it up. I'm holding the back side of the motor, trying to push up while I push down with the window regulator. Just try to squeeze the two of them together. There we are. Okay. Now I'm gonna look down inside the holes. Hopefully they're all lined up. I'm gonna try to start them. I'm not gonna tighten any of them until all 3 of them are in. All right. Now that they're all started, we'll go ahead and take our 8mm and we'll tighten those up. Just gonna tighten up all 3 of these. We don't need to go too tight. This is only plastic, so we don't wanna crack it. Basically just bottom it out and just give it a little tweak, okay? So it's bottomed. Go a little bit more. There we go. There we go. I'll just check them all. You'll notice I'm not holding my ratchet all the way out here, trying to really grip into it. I'm just right up here on the head. That feels like it's nice and snug. So we'll see how these things line up real quick. That's gonna line up with that hole when we're back in the door. This one here. And then it's gonna go, yeah, just at this angle pretty much. So right like that. Now we've got our window motor installed into here with our window regulator ready to go. So here we go, friends. We've got our panel, right? Window regulator all set up. It's mounted in, motor's on there. We're gonna go ahead and put it up against the door. What I like to do is I'm gonna grab 2 screws, the bottom screws. I'm gonna go right here, right there. I'm just gonna start them in. I'm not gonna go very far. There's another one there, I know, but we're only using 2. We only need 2. Basically, I just want those in a couple threads so I can have the door panel being held up in, but we can still move it away so we can get our arms in here and then we're gonna move on to the next step of getting these situated so we can get it mounted. So here we go. I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna put them up and inside, making sure that our wiring harness is up and out of the way. We don't want that getting down and getting pinched. We'll go just like this. I'm just gonna start these in. I like for them to be in a few threads at least, not just one thread, because if you wobble it around, we don't want it pulling through and messing up the threads on either the bolt or the hole itself. If they do, well, we'll have to chase out the holes. So I'm gonna see if I can get this one started. That feels pretty good. Perfect, so now we can let go of that and we can look inside and situate ourselves. We'll move these cables out of our way. Just go like that, okay? Get these in here. Okay, now that we have these situated in here, we remember that we're gonna need 2 bolts, one for here and one for right there to hold the window to the regulator, or vice versa, the regulator to the window, whichever way you wanna say it. Anyways, so we wanna have those ready, and then I wanna be able to take this tape off the window, slowly lower the window down into these 2 brackets. All right, we wanna go nice and slow. We don't wanna drop this window. I'm gonna grab my 2 bolts. There we are. They're nice and short. They're not the ones with the big washers, which I just grabbed, and they're not the long ones. Okay, the long ones are for the door panel. So I've got these 2 in my hand. I've got my window regulator sitting in there, hanging out, waiting for me. And then I'm gonna bring the window right down to them. I'm gonna get it situated onto it. I'm gonna hold the window from underneath, just because it seems like it's easier for me to be able to grab under here. I'll just leave the tape on there. We don't need to rip it off and throw it on the ground or anything, just in case, well, the wind blows. First of all, you don't want it going flying around. But also just in case we need to hold it up again. You know, if it slides down in between there, that's okay, because we're gonna put the window up and test it out anyways. So we're gonna get these. You got a little nub right here. That's gonna slide in there, just like that. Oh, see, the window? It's okay. Don't be scared. I'm gonna take this. Sorry about my hand in your way. All I'm doing is I'm trying to start that screw into that regulator slot. We can tighten it up in a minute, but first I want to get the other side in as well. I'm holding onto the window this whole time, not letting it go. We only want to replace the regulator, not the whole window today. We'll save that for another video, okay? This one, I'm looking at it. It should. I'm gonna just go like this, just like that. We just gotta finagle the regulator a little bit. All right, so we got both of those started in. Just gonna go ahead and tighten it up with my 10mm and turning to the right. Bottomed out. Just a little bit, right? Bottomed out. Just a little bit. There we go. We want these to be able to move around a little bit because we have to be able to line them up with the holes inside the panel. Okay? So that looks pretty good. We're not going to try functioning the window yet at this point because we want to make sure that the regulator is mounted to this panel so it's nice and supported before we go ahead and try to move it with the power. Let's grab our window regulator mounting bolts, hopefully. That's the 4 little ones that we talked about. And this washer, I told you I'd tell you where it goes. It goes right here. It goes on the back, rear side of it, I guess you'd say. If the door was closed, it would be the rear, right there. So, let's see what we can do. I'm gonna try to put this through. I'm gonna try to line it up with that in there and tighten it up. So wish me luck. Sometimes getting all this stuff lined up might be difficult because, you know, stuff's just, it's just gonna be that way, all right? You might wanna give up sometimes. You might want the camera guy to go away so you can cuss at it, but we're just gonna try our best. Trying to get that lined up. I'm looking inside. It looks like none of the holes are lined up yet, so that's no big deal. We'll just move stuff around a little bit and we'll see what we can do. So all I've been doing, I got the other 3 in so far, a little bit of help, I'll have to say. Thank you, Christian. is I used my little trim tool. I came in between the door panel and the door itself, and I can move those around a little bit. So here, you can see that I can line up a hole if I need to. This got my last one right here. I haven't tightened any of them down. All I did was start them all. There we are. Wonderful. All right, so now we can go ahead and move on to our next step, which would be starting to get all the rest of these bolts in and at least started, and then we can check functionality. So I got everything started. I haven't tightened anything down yet, just in case we have to tear it all back apart. I'm gonna plug in the window motor. Let me do that first so I don't forget. Then I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna plug in these two right here. I don't need to plug in this. We just have to take it back off again anyway. So I'm not gonna plug that in yet. I'm just gonna do the two we need. This is where the power comes from. This is where the switch connects into. So I'm gonna come to the back and you see where it looks like everything plugs into. 1, 2. If I was gonna do this one, it would just go right there. Anyway, key in the on position. Here we go. Let's see. Very nice. Perfect. So we know it goes up and down. Now once we get everything tightened up, all right, so I'm gonna first start by tightening up these 4 bolts. One here, there, there, and there. I'm just gonna snug them so they're bottomed out and then give them a little extra, just like I've been showing you all along. And then I'll move along to the other 10 bolts. Okay, there we go. Getting snug, bottomed out, a little extra. Perfect, we'll just double check. We got all our cables sticking out here. They're not behind the panel. We got nothing pinched in between the panel and the door. Looks good. All right. We'll go ahead and remount all this stuff. These are just little clips that we pulled off. We'll just put them back where we got them from. Looks pretty great. This right here just goes to that little light that was at the bottom there. A little extra tape for some reason. Perfect, let's grab our door panel. These are all where our little prongs went into. If you see anything that looks like this should be in the door. That just pulls right out. We'll check them all. So it looks like we've only got one in here still. We're gonna take our door trim tool, try it from whichever way you want, but essentially we just wanna be able to pull that out. Let's see if I can get it. There we are. Okay, I'm gonna put this right inside our door panel. We'll find the one that it came out of. Bottom corner. It's got a little thick opening here. That goes right there. So I'll just try to slide it in. There we are. Make sure all these are still in. Okay, everybody looks good. Perfect. Let's get this up here. We're gonna make sure we take this wiring. We're gonna put it down through this hole. That's where the little light's gonna be. You don't wanna forget that because it's gonna be hard to get it back out someday. All right. Now we can start connecting everything else if we want. We could do these up here or these down here. I'll start at the bottom and continue my way up to the top. So we've got the one for our window. Here we are. Center one. It's the power for everything. Got a little lock switch. Great. Actually, this one right here looks like it's for the window or the mirrors, left and right, blah, blah, blah. So there's that. That's what that one was. Perfect. All right, so we've shaken it around. We're gonna look back down here. This came out. Might have to put it back in again, who knows? Just wants to be out, but we want it to be the way we put it. So just keep grabbing it, keep giving it a tug, get it back out there. Obviously you don't want to yank it right out of the thing. I'm gonna try to hold it up against here. Now I'm gonna grab our cables. Hopefully we remember which way they go. Top is on the top, bottom's on the bottom. So I got my bottom one. I'm gonna go right inside this hole right here. We got a round with a round hole. I'm gonna put it in, go over. I'm just gonna push it in. Let's see if it'll go. There it is. Take our top one, bring it back around, we got our little nub. And the little nub goes inside that nub hole. See if we can get it. There it is. Just gonna get that into the slot. Just wanna make sure it's in all the way. It's not. If it isn't and it falls out, you'll have issues. So just take your time, make sure you do it right. I'm gonna try to spin it. Sometimes they can be a little bit of a pain. There it is. Perfect. So we don't have any more wiring in here. We can look down in. We know we got everything connected. We still got our little wire hanging out the bottom. We got little extra pieces. It's gonna go like this. I'm gonna start it along the top. There's a little ridge that runs along here. That's gonna sit inside this ridge right there. Okay. So once we get it sitting down on there, we can let go of our panel. Double check for our little wire. Still there, it's looking good, nice. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll take this and we'll bonk it in, going all the way around. Double checking, we've got our wire down here, looks good. I'm gonna start at the top. I'm gonna just go going across like this, boom, 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 and I'm gonna go around, all right? I'm making sure that this is pressed down as far as I can go. Give it a little shake. Feels good. Very nice. We can go ahead and put in our screws. We got the short one there. We're gonna have two long ones, one there and one there. I'm using my Phillips head. I'm turning these clockwise. If you wanted to, you could use a 10mm. If you notice that you were trying to tighten these down and for some reason the Phillips head kept sliding off or bouncing off or seemed like it was stripping, you would want to make sure you used a 10mm. But to help prevent your Phillips head from stripping, you can just press in at the same time. There we are. I got my last one, the short one. Remember, it goes in behind here. You can go that way, or just go right up along the top. We'll go this way. There we are. Now, before we go too far, we want to make sure we test everything, right? We don't want to put everything together and then have to take even more apart. But we do need to have all this stuff in just to make sure that everything's secure enough to use. So now we're going to try the window. I got the key power on. So we can try going down a little bit. Seems pretty good. Go up. Very nice. Go down. Stop. Up. Perfect. I like to leave my window down when I'm working, just in case I happen to close the door and it might be locked for some reason. I'm not going to lock myself out. All right, so let's move along. I've got this little cover. Might go here. Doesn't go there. Goes over here. So we'll look at it real quick. We'll see we got a little tab right here. We got a little push tab right there. This one right here obviously isn't a push tab. It needs to go in first and then push the back side in, okay? So I'll just pull this away. I'm gonna put it in that little slot right there. Just try to see if I can push this in. If it doesn't seem like it wants to click in, that's okay. There we are. That seems good. Sits in there nice and flush. We can move along. We can go ahead and do our armrest. We notice we've got all these holes going along here, right? That's where all these are gonna clip into, going along the line. So I'm just gonna take it and line it up. Yep. Let's see if I can get them all popped in. Looks like it needs to go a little bit more on the back side here. See if I can get it. Should have started with the back. So I'll just lift it back up. Let's see if I can get it started in. Something's going on. Got this little tab right there. If it doesn't seem like it wants to go in because the tab's bending out, it's very common. It's okay. We'll just use our small screwdriver again. It's a very handy tool. We'll push it in. Push it in. Okay. It's gonna come down the line. Okay, so we've got our little connector. You can see where the little lock tab is. We've got our connection area over here. The lock tab goes on this side right here where my finger is. So I'm gonna go ahead and line those up. Clip it in, right? We've got a couple little tabs here, and then we've got our under tabs, or whatever I guess you call them. These ones will slide in, but these need to go in first. So I'm gonna go like this. There's a couple little holes under here. I'm gonna line up those tabs with my holes. I'm just gonna lift it up, click it in. All right, door panel's on. Now we've completed our job. Great job, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1AAuto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.